All right, good evening, Country Club homeowners, and thank you for joining us tonight for the Meet the Candidates event for the 2025 annual election. My name is Stephanie Taylor. I am your Community Association Manager, and I will be facilitating this evening's virtual event. I'm also joined here, who's going to assist me by Benny, our property accountant. We are very fortunate this year to have 7 candidates running. I'd like to start off by first personally thanking each of them for taking an active interest in the well-being of the Country Club community and for their willingness to volunteer their time and energy to serve their neighbors. There are 3 open positions on the board of directors this year. Those elected will serve each a 2-year term alongside our 2 current board members, James Stone and Neil Roberts, who each have 1 year remaining in their terms. Tonight's event is designed to give each candidate the opportunity to introduce themselves and share what they feel is most important for residents to know as you prepare to cast your votes. Our goal is to help you make an informed and confident decision. The meeting tonight will be broken up into 3 sections. The first section will be for opening statements, where each candidate will be selected at random and then have 3 minutes to briefly introduce themselves to the community however they wish. The next section, each candidate will again be chosen at random, where they will have each 8 minutes to speak freely on any topics they choose. There will be no specific questions or prompts. They are free to represent themselves however they see fit. Finally, we'll move into the closing statements, where each candidate will again be selected at random and have 3 minutes to summarize their message and leave any final thoughts with the community. The meeting tonight is being recorded and will be posted on the community YouTube channel tomorrow. Candidates, as you participate in each section, please be mindful of your allotted time. I will give a 30-second warning by raising my hand on camera so you have a chance to wrap up your thoughts. If a candidate happens to go over, I will kindly ask you to conclude and your microphone will be muted. This helps ensure that everyone has an equal opportunity to speak and that the meeting stays on schedule tonight. Lastly, while this goes without saying, it is important to conduct yourselves respectfully throughout the evening. Please allow each candidate to speak without interruption. You are all neighbors here, and while we may have different perspectives, we all share the same goal: to contribute to the well-being of our community and to make Country Club a place where everyone feels welcomed, valued, and proud to call home. As a reminder, for those of you who are voting electronically, you will receive an email from Simply Voting tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. when electronic voting opens. Voting both electronically and by paper ballot will end on November 12th at 4 p.m. If you have not cast your vote by then, the only way to vote will be by doing so in person at the annual meeting on Thursday, November 13th at 6 p.m. With all of that said, let's have a great meeting. We will now begin with selecting the first candidate at random to begin with their opening statement. Thank you. Our first candidate with their opening statement is going to be John Lambert. So John, you will have 3 minutes. You have the time going. Benny's going to keep time for me. And the floor is yours, John. Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening. For those that I have not had the opportunity to meet, my name is John Lambert. I'd like to take this opportunity to share my background along with past and present services to the communities in which I've lived in, along with my public service. I have been a full-time Champions Gate Country Club resident since June of 23. I have enjoyed a successful career in engineering, logistics, community association management, and as a business owner. The first 37 plus years of my career was in the engineering field, holding strategic corporate leadership roles in the automotive, agriculture, telecommunications, and military industries. During this time, I held roles in various senior management positions, along with executive roles such as the Vice President and Global Vice President of Engineering. I was responsible for design, quality, process improvement, business planning, proposal preparation, contract negotiation, project planning and execution, project scheduling, and cost containment. My financial responsibility in these roles consisted of the planning and execution of budgets ranging from 10 million to greater than 100 million. For the past 18 years, I have been in the community association management field as a board president, community manager, division president, and currently the West Regional president and responsible for a $12 million plus budget for the third largest association management company in the country. My region includes 8 divisions in 6 different states. I am ultimately responsible for 135 employees, 472 associations, 51,802 homes, and approximately 103,000 owners. I am also a licensed community association manager in the state of Florida, which is required for those that are involved in managing community associations. As a concerned owner, I have held various board member roles and currently serve as director of our HOA board. In previous board member positions, I served as president for Prominence at Bellatrix 8 years and oversaw efforts to reduce the association's delinquencies from 165,000 to 3,000 and led the team in coordinating legal strategy and negotiations for the defect case against the developer, which resulted in a favorable multi-million-dollar settlement. In addition, I also served as vice president for the Bellatrix Master Association for 3 years. Before returning to Florida, I lived in New Mexico and spent 2 years as the president of the Mariposa Neighborhood Association. My HOA committee experience includes turnover committee for Bellatrix Master, turnover committee for the Promenades at Bellatrix, social and recreational committee at Bellatrix, clubhouse committee at Legends and Golf Country Club, community enhancement chair for the Country Club of Champions Gate, and my public service includes current board supervisor for the Stony Brook South at Champions Gate CDD, past board supervisor for Champions Gate CD, and the past board supervisor for Toho Water Authority. I thank you all for the opportunity to speak to you tonight and look forward to a productive evening.
Perfect 3 minutes. Thank you, John. All right, next up. We have Tom Phelan. You have 3 minutes, Tom.
Let me get unmuted. Yep.
Here you go.
Well, good evening, everybody. My name is Tom Phelan. I've lived in Champions Gate for the past 2 years. And prior to that, I was an annual pass holder at the golf course. So I got to know the people of Champions Gate and what a lovely community it was, which eventually I bought a house within the community because of all the people and so forth that are near and dear to my heart. As in Champions Gate, I've served on the beautification committee to improve the golf course and the golf grill. I have embraced helping out and giving back in running the golf leagues on Monday, Friday, and Saturdays, and learning the software system Golf Genius. And as my monthly statement shows, I'm a strong contributor to the Plaza and always having fun at special events, of which Music Bingo is one of my favorite events each month. I'm committed to be preserving and enhancing the quality of life, safety, and strong sense of community that makes our neighborhood such a great place to live. I'm running for the HOA board to contribute my time, my business expertise, my professional skills, responsible leadership, open and transparent communication. I've worked 41 years of my professional experience with Bayer Corporation, where I did solve more than headaches. I've developed deep expertise in the following areas: global procurement and negotiation skills, both domestically and internationally. I was one of the very few people that had responsibilities within the Americas and also in staff in Germany, where I'd commute back and forth every other week to Germany to be on the global staff on working on various projects. Third-party vendor management. We employed third-party vendors to help us out and take advantage of labor arbitrage, and also learning their expertise in the various areas of warehousing, fleet management, travel agencies is what we've done. Corporate credit card and expense reporting system. We enabled rolling out a global credit card for all the travelers that we had, and also along with that, Concur global expense reporting tool globally in various languages that we need to develop around the world. I was a strong budget development and control person, where I had responsibility for $500 million in budget on an annual basis, both in the US and on a global basis. Supply chain management, when I was in the logistics area, I served as the transportation manager and director.
Okay, thank you, Tom. That is the 3 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you. All right, next up we have Jean Walkery. Jean, you have 3 minutes.
All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Gene Walkery. My wife, Sherry, and I have lived here for 5 years now, full time on Lunker Drive. We have 6 kids and 19 grandchildren. Many of you know me because I'm an avid golfer. I play with my 3 closest friends twice a week, and then I play with my league friends on one other day. Others of you know me from events I frequent at the plaza. I love any of the events that have music. And plus the game nights. If you've been to karaoke, you've heard me sing because I'm always there. You may also know me as the guy who reports on the status of local road work via one of our community Facebook pages, or from my interviews with Spectrum Channel 13. I've been interviewed and posted progress on the Ronald Reagan stoplight and the West Side Extension, and some other road work that I'll mention later. As for my background, I have a bachelor's degree in business information systems and a master's MBA in business administration. I'm retired after 40 years of IT work. I started out as a programmer back at the paper mill in Michigan, and I worked my way up to divisional and corporate levels of MeadWestvaco. I finished there as the leader of source and support over their all of their global manufacturing locations. As a source support was the work of managing the software that controls equipment maintenance, purchasing, accounts payable, and spare parts inventories. And we have many of those same processes here in our community. So you should feel comfortable knowing that I understand those processes and I know how to improve them. After MeadWestvaco's IT department was outsourced, I moved over to Northrop Grumman Corporation, where I spent the last 7 years of my career developing software solutions for the Army, managing their equipment worldwide. I had top secret clearance there, so you know that you can trust me because I've been thoroughly vetted. I've always been a hard worker. Throughout my career, I had top performance reviews with numerous promotions. Many years I was on call for 24 hours a day for a week at a time, worked numerous weekends and nights, plenty of work there. My most valuable skill is problem solving through data analysis, and I can take any situation, boil it down to the core issues, collect and study the data, and then solve the problems. That is what I did my entire career. My job was to learn each business function and then create software solutions that automated and improved them, plus fix any problems that came up. I'd love the opportunity to use my skills to find money saving and improvement opportunities in our community.
Okay, Jean, that is 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jean. Okay, next up we have Mark Anderson. So Mark, you have 3 minutes.
Good evening. I'm Mark Anderson, and it's a pleasure to be here tonight to stand for election to the Champions Gate Country Club Board of Directors. Thank you to the board and our management team for putting together this event. And to you, fellow residents, thanks for carving out this time. Your engagement shows just how much we all care about steering our community in the right direction together. It's been 2 years since Joy and I moved from Chicago winters for the sunny promise of Champions Gate Country Club at the 14th green. A rewarding move it's been. As a real estate investor, developer, and principal, I've spent decades building complex projects from the ground up. Everything from scouting land, securing entitlements, collaborating on innovative designs, overseeing construction, navigating approvals, and celebrating successful handoffs to new owners. I've tackled a wide range of assets, hotels that draw travelers, retail spaces that energize neighborhoods, and residential communities that stand the test of time. What excites me most about this strategic financial stewardship is the art of cutting through regulatory mazes for something sustainable and smart. Excuse me. I've learned that true success isn't about quick wins. It's been about years ahead, spotting risks before they snag us. And the kind of open, transparent decision-making that builds trust at every turn is exactly what Champions Gate Country Club Board needs to safeguard Champions Gate as the crown jewel it is. You see, it isn't just a neighborhood. It's a multi-million-dollar legacy we all invest in daily. Our homes, our leisure, our sense of belonging. I'm running for this board because I bring hands-on experience in development with deep-rooted commitment to community service. I've always believed in rolling up my sleeves to amplify our joint voice. Together, we can protect the lifestyle we've chosen, ensuring our investments grow, our risks are managed, and our decisions reflect the very best of what we can achieve as a united front. Thank you.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, Mark. Next up, we have Liesl Butler-Burke. All right, Liesl, you have 3 minutes. Oh, you are muted still. Just make sure to unmute yourself. Sorry.
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm Liesl Butler-Burke, and I'm currently secretary of at the board of the Minute. I'd like to thank all my candidates. I'm sitting here and I'm a bit overawed with everybody because I mean yous are all fantastic, and I think it's fantastic that we have a community that people are so willing to go to so much trouble to get on the board and actually do a bit of work, and it's fantastic. And I wish you all the best this evening. I hope it works fine for everybody. I'd also like to thank echo Mark. I'd like to thank all the homeowners. I mean, it's a lot to have people sitting on a Wednesday evening when they probably could be out doing something else, listening to all us rabbiting on. So I really appreciate it, and I hope that we give you food for thought. So those who don't know me, Liesl Butler-Burke. I am from Dublin, Ireland, as you can hear, if anybody who doesn't know me from watching me on the board at the moment. I moved to Florida with Finton, my husband, and our 2 dogs in 2009. And we lived in Highland Reserve, which is a golf community just down the road. I've always liked to get involved. I like to give things back. And I was president of the HOA in Highlands for, 7-8 years. And when I moved here, I eventually decided I wanted to get involved, and that's why I'm here. It's a great community. We're very privileged to live here. It needs good custodians, and I'm not going to go through my career, whatever. My name is on the deeds of the house, so that's the reason why I'm running here. And I like working with people. I love meeting people, and yeah, let's just get out there and have a nice meeting tonight. And I'll talk to you in about, I don't know, when Marilyn and Matt have finished. I'm sure we'll be back in the draw again. So I hope for all my candidates tonight that you all have a good meeting. Okay, thanks, Stephanie. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Liesl. Okay, next up. Oop, thank you, Benny. We have Marilyn McNevitz. Marilyn, you have 3 minutes.
She's muted.
Sorry, Stephanie. Thanks so much. Good evening, everyone. And my name is Marilyn McNevitz. I've been a resident here for 10 years this month. I'm here with my husband, and our children certainly enjoy this as the the central home place to come together, especially over the holidays. I'm a CPA with 35 years experience in finance and audit at a major accounting firm and the third largest bank in Canada. I was one of the founding directors of the board when we turned over 4 years ago, and I served for 2 years as a director and also the vice president. During that time, I was the board liaison for the golf committee, the finance committee, the villa subcommittee, the covenants committee, and even part of the beautification committee. Prior to that, I even participated on the turnover committee for the country club prior to our takeover from Lennar. As many of you people may or may not know, I'm a roll up your sleeves kind of person. With my financial and auditing skills, I'm easily able to identify issues. I like to work through the underlying root cause, making recommendations and working with whoever needs to get the necessary things in place to fix it. I am an open book and I don't have any hidden agendas, as I've always been transparent with people and always willing to listen and give you my perspective, as well as working through to get informed decisions. I'm an advocate for the whole community. While I'm a golfer, we have 937 homes that represent full-time, part-time owners, golfers and non-golfers, pickleball players, amenity lovers, and everyone else. As I said, I'm a part-time resident, and when I was on the board, either in my attending a board meeting, a committee meeting, or even a management meeting, because we had lots of those with First Service as we did the transition with Icon. Regardless of where I was or what time of day it was, I was attending the meetings. And while there's several areas of focus that I think the board needs to look at, I'll speak specifically on these later on about financial operations, the plaza, golf, the lawsuit that we have with Lennar for the developer deficiencies, and the Oasis purchase. Overarching, I think we need a long-term strategic plan for the country club, because after 4 years, we don't have one. And I think it's no different than any other company, that we need a roadmap for people to follow and people can understand the direction that where we're going to go. So as a CPA with significant financial and board experience, I feel I'm well placed to help the board and the community move forward. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Marilyn. All right, last but not least for our opening statements, we have Matt Link. Oop,
Thank you, Stephanie.
You're welcome. You have 30.
Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Matt Link, and I'm honored to be here tonight as both a proud homeowner and neighbor here in Champions Gate Country Club. This community isn't just where I live, it's where my family and I have built our lives. It's where my kids are growing up, where lifelong friendships have been made, and where every sunrise reminds me how fortunate we are to call this place home. When I drive through the gates, I don't just see houses. I see families walking their dogs, golfers laughing on the fairway, and neighbors waving as they pass by. That's the heartbeat of Champions Gate. That sense of connection, pride, and community, it's what makes this place truly special. As someone who lives and works here every day, I have the privilege of showing our beautiful neighborhood, the golf course, the plaza, and our incredible amenities to families considering making Champions Gate their home. I see firsthand what draws people here. Not just the homes or the golf, but the people, the culture, the lifestyle, and the genuine sense of belonging that sets us apart. That's what's inspired me to run for the board, to help preserve everything that makes this community so special, while also finding new ways to help it thrive. One thing I've heard from many of you is the need for more transparency, and I couldn't agree more. We deserve open communication, clear information, and confidence that decisions are made in the best interests of everyone. If elected, I'll work to keep residents informed, engaged, and included. Because when information is shared, trust is built, and that's how communities grow. Through my brokerage and team, we've also made it a priority to give back. Over the years, we've helped raise tens of thousands of dollars for community beautification, and when hurricanes hit, we're out there helping, replacing roof tiles, clearing debris, or checking on neighbors. That's what community means, showing up for each other when it matters most. And Thank you very much. Looking forward to the next section. Thanks, Stephanie.
All right, thank you, Matt. All right, so we have heard from all 7 of our candidates for their opening statements. So we are now going to we're going to pick each candidate again at random, and each candidate will now have the opportunity to speak for 8 minutes on whatever they wish to cover and whatever they feel best represents themselves to the community. So we are going to, at random again, Benny, thank you. Okay, we have Mark Anderson. So Mark, you have 8 minutes.
Thank you. I serve as secretary on the Champions Gate Master Association Board. This role provides me with invaluable insight into the operational, financial, and regulatory challenges facing our entire development. Being involved at the master level, I already have an understanding of the interconnected legal and service agreements that impact the country club, including other shared infrastructure. In this capacity, I'm directly involved in the strategic decisions that affect every resident, giving me a crucial head start. I understand the intricacies of budget reviews, contract negotiation, and compliance necessary to keep a community of this scale running smoothly and efficiently. As secretary of the Champions Gate Master Association Board, and making the connection to the country club is the reason you will vote for me as a director. And I thank you for that. In Illinois, I served on the Finance Committee for the Integrated Capital Budget for the City of Elgin. I was vice chairman of the Governor's Golden Corridor Steering Committee and an advisor for various Chicago area nonprofits. I'm results oriented. I believe a director should be able to step in day one and contribute strategically. That's what I expect to do. With many years as a real estate developer, turning multi-million-dollar projects into success, like Marriott hotels, office parks, retail centers, I'll bring that sharp eye to our HOA budget. No unnecessary spend. Let's maximize every dollar, boost values, and fund upgrades that continue to make Champions Gate the envy of Florida. I've led full cycle developments from land acquisition to ribbon cutting, creating vibrant spaces like mixed-use plazas that residents love. And as your director, I'll support smart enhancements, upgraded amenities, green spaces that elevate our lifestyle without breaking the bank. Drawing from my track record of supporting thriving neighborhoods. From navigating entitlements in Illinois to volunteering on economic committees, I've spotted opportunities. Elect me and we'll proactively plan for the future, securing sustainability, mitigating risk like rising cost, and positioning our club as a beacon of excellence for years to come. Thanks, Stephanie.
Great, thank you, Mark. All right, next up. We have, thank you, Benny. John Lambert. So John, you have, sorry, you have 8 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Stephanie.
Yep.
In this section, I'd like to address communication, misinformation, misconceptions, budgets, and underusage. Poor communication leads to misunderstandings, conflicts, and decreased productivity in both personal and professional relationships. It can also cause project failure, missed deadlines, financial losses, and low employee morale and trust. At a more personal level, it can result in frustration, resentment, damaged relationships, and increased stress. Without open or a lack of communication between our members, management company, or board, rumors start and misinformation is shared. This creates uncertainty and walls are then built amongst us all. Good communication is vital for building strong relationships, preventing misunderstandings, and improving productivity in both professional and personal life. It fosters trust, enhances collaboration, and is essential for problem solving, conflict resolution, and achieving common goals. In speaking with numerous community members, this is an area that we as a board have done poorly in. Sure, some things are shared, but when questions are asked, they are sometimes brushed away or vaguely answered. Many have stated that we have again become a divisive community, which overall is extremely harmful. For us to be successful, we need to turn this around, and with open and accurate communication, this will help us down that path. Misinformation can cause discord, erosion of trust, impaired decision-making, leading to a more toxic community environment. It can result in damaged community cohesion, fuel unnecessary conflict, and negatively affect property values. False rumors about policies, board decisions, or events can confuse residents and lead conflict between residents and with the board. It is imperative that when this is recognized, they be addressed immediately with accurate information before they are wrongfully spread throughout the community. The board can easily combat this by being as transparent as possible with all communications. Misconceptions can lead to a variety of negative effects, including increased conflict between neighbors and the board over rules and responsibilities, financial issues, and a dysfunctional board that is unable to govern effectively. These can result in poor community management, legal disputes, and reduced property values. Misconceptions can affect the board and its governments, which can lead to boards that are unable to make decisions, with members fighting and resorting to personal attacks. It can also lead to intimidation and manipulation, which enables board members to use tactics to push their own agendas, thus creating a hostile environment. A well thought out budget that is developed by both the management company and board provides financial stability by enabling proactive planning for maintenance, capital improvements, and unexpected expenses, which helps prevent shortfalls and the potential of a special assessment. Key benefits of a well-planned and rounded budget includes establishing fair dues, ensuring transparency for homeowners, and providing a roadmap for managing community processes effectively to protect property values and maintain the community's assets. In theory, the creation of association budgets is a partnership between the management company and board, but it must first start with the management company, as they have the experience and knowledge of putting together the main factors of the budget. They are able to do this by looking at the association's income and expense history over the previous years. In addition, they will also reach out to service providers to obtain potential rate increases for utilities, insurance, landscaping, etc., so they can be calculated into the proposed budget they prepare. Once the proposed budget is completed, it must be a collaboration between the management company and the entire board to review and discuss. This can take several meetings, as there is a lot of factors involved. As with any other business, when expenses increase, the first step must be to evaluate what expenses could potentially be reduced. Once all options have been exhausted and it is determined there is still need for additional revenue, potential revenue opportunities should be reviewed and discussed. I question whether FSL was utilized to its fullest capability in this development, as there was minimal interaction from all board members in its development. Another question I have, as being responsible for a team that is currently preparing over 400 budgets for their associations, why was I not asked to provide input and support during the preparation of our initially proposed budget? As you may be aware, the 2026 budget was approved at the budget meeting this past Monday, and there were several questions regarding expenses, some of which were addressed, but what was not communicated was a breakdown of our monthly assessments, nor how the amounts were determined. I felt it would be advantageous to provide a breakdown of the highest expenses that affect the overall budget the most. Our 2026 budget is $11.5 million. The total budgeted payroll and benefits is roughly $4.4 million. That's 37.94% of the overall, which equates to $388.39 per unit. The total budgeted landscaping is $1.48 million, which is 12.84%. It's $131.41 per door per month. The total spectrum budget is $745,000, which is 6.47%. It's $66.27 per door. The total budgeted golf maintenance is $566,000, which is 4.92%. That's only $50.35 per door per month for the golf maintenance. The total budgeted HOA insurance is $405,000, which is 3.52 at $36.04 per month. The total management fee is $170,000 at 1.48 at $15.11 per month. Our common area reserves are $506,000 at 4.4 at $45 per month. And our villa reserves are $72,000 at 0.62% at $6.38 per month. The responsibilities of an HOA management are financial management, administrative and operational support, maintenance and vendor management, rules enforcement, and compliance and board assistance. First Service is a $5.2 billion international company whose corporate headquarters is based in Toronto, Canada, with their U.S. operations being based out of Dania Beach, Florida. It is safe to say that for a company to grow to this size, they must be meeting the expectations of its clients. Companies will agree, FSR included, that their most valuable asset is their employees, and I fully believe they strive to hire the most qualified candidates. Our FSR team is our most valuable employees, and they need to be treated professionally and with respect. Not doing so will create poor morale and the potential of losing them, which will negatively impact our community. Contrary to some beliefs, the FSR team is well qualified and capable of performing their roles. What also may not be understood is that they act at the direction of the board. Therefore, their successes and failures are a result of the board's directions. As mentioned previously, I do not personally feel that we are utilizing them to their fullest capability. For instance, let's look at our board meetings. It would be hard-pressed to say that we're utilizing the expertise of our management team as the only FSR manager that has been consistently presenting is our community manager, Stephanie. Why do we not have our controller, general manager, facilities manager, or golf manager provide updates? Is this by direction? Not doing so can create the perception that they are neither capable or nor trusted in doing so, which I firmly believe that is not the case. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Thank you, John. Thank you very much. Okay, next up, we have Matt Link. Matt, you've got 8 minutes.
Thank you, Stephanie. All right, a little bit about me. I served 22 years in the United States Navy, where I learned the value of leadership, accountability, and teamwork. Over those 2 decades, I led recruiting operations across the country, including serving as director of operations for major regions like Miami and New England. My job was to take complex systems and make them work better, to set goals, motivate teams, and to deliver results. Those same principles guide how I approach community leadership: to listen first, act decisively, and always serve with integrity. When I retired from the Navy, my family and I chose to make Champions Gate our permanent home. Today, I'm the co-owner of Champions Gate Realty, a brokerage that I've been fortunate enough to build into a thriving, top-performing real estate company right here inside of the country club. In a very competitive market in a short period of time, we built a reputation for results, professionalism, and service. And I've done it by applying the exact same principles that made me successful in the Navy: discipline, teamwork, and relentless follow-through. Being a full-time real estate professional here means I'm in the community every single day. I'm walking the streets, talking to neighbors, helping new families settle in, and seeing firsthand what's working well and what can be improved. One of the things I love most about our community is how it's centered around connection. And nowhere embodies that more than our golf course and the plaza. I'm a proud member of the Champions Gate Men's Golf Association, and I've seen how golf here is far more than just the game. It's about community. A morning round can turn strangers into lifelong friends. The camaraderie we share out there, it's one of the strongest bonds this neighborhood has. But I've also noticed areas where we can do much better, starting with the plaza. Over the past year, I've seen too many events get canceled, moved, or changed last minute. The plaza should be the heartbeat of this community, not a question mark on the calendar. And if you've been here a while, you'll remember when our events truly brought people together. I still remember the record-breaking Disney Bingo Night a few years back. Over 100 people came out and we raised thousands of dollars. It was such an incredible event that showed what this community can do when everyone gets involved. That's the kind of energy we should bring back. Events that fill the room, connect neighbors, and make everyone proud to be part of Champions Gate. I really believe our residents should have more of a voice in what goes on here. We live here, we know what brings people together, and we should have a hand in shaping the events that make this community so special. When we let residents drive that energy, we'll see stronger turnout, more variety, and a renewed sense of excitement across the plaza. And that same principle, giving homeowners a voice, applies to everything we do as a board. We have 937 homes in the country club, and every one of them matters. We may not always agree on every issue, but our goal should be to balance those perspectives and do what's best for the collective good of our entire community. Financially, that means keeping HOA fees increases as low as possible, while maintaining the standards of quality that make Champions Gate so desirable. We can accomplish that through smarter budgeting, using our amenities efficiently, and focusing our resources where they truly benefit residents. From the golf course to the pools, the pickleball courts, and of course the plaza, it's about operating responsibly and transparently, making sure homeowners know how and why decisions are being made. I've also been following the 558 deficiency claim lawsuit against Lennar and the ongoing Oasis Club discussions. These are complex negotiations that require patience, professionalism, and teamwork. In both my Navy career and real estate career, I've built a track record for handling high-stakes negotiations, bringing people together and finding fair, practical outcomes. That experience will be invaluable in protecting the best interest of our homeowners and helping move these discussions towards a resolution that benefits our community long-term. And since we're talking about priorities, let's talk about the golf course. It's the centerpiece of our community and one of the most valuable assets we have. I've heard from residents who believe we may be underpricing our public grounds, and that's a fair concern. In a competitive golf market like Central Florida, pricing is all about balance. You have to fill the tee sheet, but you also have to protect value. It's the same principle I use in real estate. I know when to set a record price, and I know when to adjust to meet the market. I believe we can explore surge pricing, similar to hotels and airlines, to maximize revenue during peak times, while still keeping steady play during slower periods. That strategy would allow us to strengthen our golf operation financially without ever compromising resident access or experience that makes our course so very special. At the end of the day, it comes back to one simple question. Does this make life better for our homeowners? And if the answer is yes, then it's worth doing. If not, we need to rethink it. That's the mindset I'll bring to the board, a focus of efficiency, transparency, and results, guided by experience, accountability, and community pride. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Matt. Next up, thank you, Benny. We have Liesl. So Liesl, you have 8 minutes.
Oh.
Ooh, you unmuted and then you just muted yourself. There you go.
Listen, it's no secret. I hate these meetings. I'm not very good at technology. Where do you start? It doesn't seem like a year ago that I was sitting here talking to the homeowners, asking them to vote for me. And I will say I did try very hard to follow through on what I had actually promised to do. It was a difficult road. Anybody who follows the board meetings knows that I was not, I have probably been asking questions all year because there are questions that have to be asked. I didn't get many answers, but I still ask the questions. And if I get elected again, I will continue asking those questions. I still think that it was grossly negligent not to sign a multi-million, re-sign or renegotiate a multi-million contract with FSR without going out and seeing what was in the marketplace. Are we overpaying? Are we underpaying? Are we getting the best value for our dollar? And I would suggest that, and I'm just saying this, and it's not going to probably win me any votes, but the board members that made that decision actively not to research that, I would suggest if they had to get a new AC unit, I very much doubt they would take the first price, but that was their money they were looking after. And as board members, we have a fiduciary duty to look after everybody's money. Transparency is a big issue, and communication. I am a communicator, always have been. It's hard to shut me up. But I will say it's been very difficult because I don't normally, what you see with me is what you get. And it's very hard to be not that be on be working on a board that isn't transparent. We aren't listening to the homeowners enough. We ask questions at the board meetings, and it's to me we ask the questions, but nothing ever seems to be actioned on it. It's almost like it's tick the box. Let's ask the questions. That's not right. Everybody here has the right to be heard, and as board members, we're your voice. And if we don't listen to what people are telling us, well, then we shouldn't be sitting here. We have absolutely no right to be sitting at the top of that table. There are a couple of other bits. We are a divided community at the minute, and we shouldn't be. We shouldn't be. It has developed over the last maybe year or so, and my priority will be to try and get the division gone and get it back to the way we were. Some of the things that I think we did well this year. I'm very proud of the Champions Gate Connections meeting we had. I did try to have another one there a couple of weeks ago, but it didn't work. That was the night, for those who weren't around, that was the night we had all the residents groups in, and we must have had 60, 70 homeowners in talking to people about the book club or bocce or mandala painting and all these different things, bridge clubs. It was fantastic. And that's what this community is good at. We're good at talking to each other and playing together. And that's what we have to build on that strength. There is a lot of goodwill in the community for our board, and we can't abuse it. We have to respect it, we have to nurture it, and we have to make sure that we look after it, because goodwill once lost is not got back. I would like to address the issues with the gates. I live in Mickelson, so we don't really have problems with the gates, but I have constantly people coming up to me, talking to me about the gates. The Master Association look after the gates, but I think our board should be much more active in working with the Master Association. Mark is actually he's secretary of the Master Association. I think we need to be a little bit more proactive and get in there and sort of, fight for the fact that we also have to go through those gates. And we understand that there are issues, we understand technology, but we have to be seen to be advocating for the people that put us up on the top of this table. I had notes, and I'm not very good at notes. I'm better winging it. And I think that's probably about it. The other thing that I'm very proud of is the golf. I'm a very, very bad golfer, 42.4 handicap. But I am very proud to say that we have a lot of ladies that never golfed before this time last year, and they're out there 3-4 times a week. And that is just fantastic. Ben is doing a good job with the Linksters. I don't know if you've ever gone up there on a Saturday morning, you saw all those kids. And when I sat here last year, that was one of my priorities, was to try and get more kids, because we have a lot of kids in the community. And these amenities are just right up their street, far better than sitting with a PlayStation. I would like to get more tennis involved. And in fairness, Adam Miller, the new lifestyle director, I'm actually quite confident that he's going to actually go ahead and work and listen to what the homeowners say. If I get elected, and depending on how the board sits, I would like to have advisory committees in again. We need to have a handicap committee for golf, because otherwise we're going to be in trouble with the USGA. I would like to have a golf and tournaments committee to help Ben. And I'm not saying get in there and help him with work, because FSR have to be allowed to do the job that they're getting paid for. There is nobody on our board that is qualified to run, well, maybe John, because he works in the business, but we all have different skill sets, but we're not getting paid to run the community. They are, and we need to let them do it. And the other thing I would like to do is have more of an activities committee. I think activities committees are good, because there's only so much that the lifestyle director is going to come up with, and dealing with an activities committee. And again, these are all advisory committees. You've got volunteers willing to help, and then you've also got new input and fresh ideas all the time. I probably am not near my 8 minutes. Am I, Stephanie?
You have just under 2 minutes left. Okay.
Well, here's my last thing. We are privileged to live in this community. We have to look after it. It is, as I said, it's a place that people come to retire. It's a place where people come to raise their families, and it's a place where people come to live. It's a happy place. We need to keep it a happy place. And the only way we're going to do that is being nice to each other, respecting each other, and just getting on with each other, because we're all neighbours. And here's the other thing. And I will say this, I don't like these meetings. I hate board meetings where we're talking on a computer. If you're not comfortable sitting in a room with your neighbours, well, then you have absolutely no right to be sitting at the top of that table represented. So that's me done, Stephanie. As I said, rabbited on probably a bit too much. Sorry.
All right, thank you, Liesl. All right, next up we have Tom Palin.
Okay, Stephanie, thank you.
Welcome. 8 minutes.
Okay. Over my time at Bayer, I continue to grow each year of my career by continuing to take on projects and education. I've also been a person to step forward and help improve processes and also look for ways of continuous improvement. It would be no different if I was elected to the HOA board. Now, as we move into my platform that I'd like to talk about is some of the things that I'd like to accomplish over the next year would be vendor management. Vendor management is a term describes the process of organizations use to manage their suppliers who know or are known as vendors. Vendor management includes activities such as selecting vendors, negotiating contracts, controlling costs, reducing vendor risk, and ensuring service delivery. One of the ways I was able to improve and drive costs in the areas that I was involved with was third-party suppliers, to be able to take advantage of labor and operational efficiencies. By using a third-party supplier, you'll still need to manage them through an effective contract, key performance indicator, and performance reviews, whether it be monthly or quarterly. Also looking for ways to improve performance and efficiencies, which could lead to lower cost. I feel this is a very strong skill set that I bring to the community and will utilize it as a board member. I feel that we need, as a board and community, could improve by using a formal vendor management process, which I would happy to form and lead. We have hired First Services to run the community, and they need to do the job. We need to trust, but we also need to verify. Another one of my areas is budget and cost control. Another important factor is the budget development and the management of the budget throughout the year, not just providing an annual budget, but controlling it monthly. To do this, we need timely, accurate expense data, not working with 6 to 8 week old data. This would help control expenses. I would like to push for timely monthly budget reports. Another key factor is what controls are in place to ensure employees have the correct process. One of my favorite examples is the nightmare we had with the trail fee checks being deposited, and also this past year where we lost up to $80,000 in checks, which hopefully through the process of the controller put new controls in, and that won't happen this year. Another cost controlling item is to benchmark employee cost and benefits with major HOA providers or industry associations. This would let us know where our labor costs and benefits are either at benchmark or above or below. I know in the community, the HOA fees is a hot topic, but by having tighter controls, we'll be able to maintain our current level of HOA fees. Cost reduction is a key factor in controlling HOA fees. We need to understand our costs so that we can drive expenses. However, we still need to keep in mind the cost of living continues to rise. As far as what I expect of a board, I would like to make sure that the board members act like a board. I would like to see board be collaborative, not just a couple or a few reviewing issues and items and keeping other board members uninformed. Should this happen, I will inform the community that the board is not sharing information. Now, I will admit all board members will not agree on all matters, but the one thing that needs to happen, we all need to share information and have a collaborative approach. As far as our our monthly board meetings, I would like to have the board meetings to be in person with a virtual option. I'd also would propose that all meetings be planned and published for the upcoming year. In addition, I would like to propose that the community be allowed to comment on matters prior to votes being taken with a time limit imposed. Also, the open forum should be an open forum on any new matter that companies or the community would like to bring up with that 3-minute time limit that we currently have. In addition, I would also like to see more town hall meetings and special subject agenda items where we can take a deeper dive with the community. Another thing to help grow the community and put the community together is bringing back an advisory committee. I'd also like to reestablish the advisory committee process to ensure that the community has a voice in how we are moving forward. The function of the committees is to come up with ideas and direction, then present to the board, and then between the board and First Services to implement ideas based on overall budget impacts. I think this is critical, and I think by doing something like this, we're enabling all people of Champions Gate to be involved in the process, and we as a community are moving forward, and just not the board is moving forward. And that's what I'd like to do over the next coming year, or that these are my platform items that I would like to implement if fortunate to be elected to the board of directors. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Okay, next up we have Jean Walkery. Jean, you've got 8 minutes, Jean.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. Well, I'd like to start by telling you my top 3 priority issues that I feel we need to address here in the community and I'd like to help with. My first and most important issue is limiting or eliminating HOA dues increases. I live on a fixed income, so like many of you, I don't want to see huge increases in dues. I favor cost cutting and creative revenue generation, but I prefer to focus on cost cutting. I want to eliminate wasteful spending. I like to use my data analysis skills to search the financials and the 4Ts data, to find broken patterns, to find costs not in line with other similar operations, and to find other cost-cutting opportunities. If the board chooses to pursue revenue generation, my first suggestion would be to increase restaurant revenue by marketing our golf grill to get more public spend, especially from retreat guests. We could even do more to promote the golf grill to homeowners. The way we have been raising revenue by selling more tee times to outside players is making it even more difficult for us as owners to get our tee times. We have to look for creative solutions there as well. One suggestion I have is to sell 9-hole tee times off the back 9 at the start of days when players aren't starting on that 9. We have time there, maybe an hour to 2 hours each morning. It's a matter of if the grounds crew is done getting the 9 ready. But if we could sell that time, it wouldn't have any impact on selling or the tee times that the owners are trying to reach on the front 9. My second issue is improving the harmony among homeowners. Lisa already touched on this one. We do have that friction amongst groups here, and I'd like to see that taken care of as well. And remember, there's also another group of people, a whole bunch of homeowners who aren't part of those groups that are looking to, be involved, and they can probably see the friction as well. And it makes it harder for them to feel like they can join the owners that are, here in those groups. So I'm thinking of ideas on how we could work around that. I was talking about the golf grill and expanding the sales to public there. And I'd like to see that after the completion of their expansion, there'd be more opportunity there, and we could get those 2 groups together, hopefully to work on improving the sales at the outside people. I'd like to get some things going on that could bring in new homeowners for activities and make them feel welcome here. So my wife and I have come up with the idea of creating some card leagues and actually bringing people in, asking the new owners as well as the old ones to come in and learn some card games. I'm going to focus on swoop and cribbage because those are 2 we know and enjoy. And I know a lot of people in both all the community like the swoop game. So have a training session and then have league matches on other days. See if we can get people together. Once they're together and talking with each other, we can help move along and get things settled, hopefully. My third issue is to ensure that our amenities are well maintained and operated. I want to study all the 4Ts transactional data along with the equipment maintenance plans to make sure we are doing what is needed to help keep our amenities up and running efficiently and enjoyably. I need to see the data on how our tee times are being used so I can help make sure enough tee times are available for our members. I suggest that someone create an app where homeowners can log an entry each time they try to make a tee time and can't get one. This would provide hard evidence that we could use to understand the problem and focus a solution. I'd like to use my knowledge of equipment maintenance processes to help make our golf and restaurant equipment be properly maintained. This will allow us to avoid premature failures, costly outages, and early replacements. One amenity improvement suggestion I have is to eliminate the putting green at the plaza, so another pickleball court or maybe some additional parking could be added there. We could replace that green with an actual miniature golf course behind the plaza pools, or better yet, at the golf course, where we could get revenue by letting the public pay to use it. We could even get community members to design and build the holes together in a friendly competition. We could get sponsors to pay for building supplies and post signs to advertise them as a hole sponsor. Those are creative type ideas I'd like to work on trying to help the community. I've given you what I think are the top 3 issues, but I think the board needs to use surveys to find out what are the top issues most homeowners want worked on. The board can then show those results in pursuit of transparency, so homeowners know the board is working on the issues the majority of the homeowners want addressed. The board also needs to capture reasons for their decisions in the meeting minutes for a future understanding of why decisions were made. My corporate hiring experience tells me that the best indicator of future behavior is past behavior. So I'd like to focus now on what I've done in the past to show my commitment to you in this community. I've worked for this community ever since I got here. The first year I reported the dangerous intersection at Ronald Reagan and West Side. And as I mentioned earlier, Channel 13 interviewed me, and Polk County committed to getting a stoplight there they've now put in place and activated. I also attended the Osceola County meeting on the West Side Extension. I asked for their updates from the Road Commission, and as the project progresses, and I post that on our Facebook page so people know what's going on. I also raised an issue with Osceola about the West Side Boulevard needing to be expanded and a stoplight being needed at Velocita and West Side when the traffic increases due to the West Side expansion that's coming up. Here are some ways I've helped our community and stayed informed. Back when we had committees, I attended all of the golf committee meetings, even though I wasn't on the committee. I've always attended the HOA board meetings. I helped the plaza fundraising efforts that were mentioned earlier, where we raised a lot of money. I had a key role in the setup and implementation of the 4Ts software, and even after it was implemented, I kept up contacting the people at FSR and tried helping where I could help with the transition. I was a part of the group that created the key performance indicators that the board is currently using to measure the performance of First Services, and I expect those to be helpful. And I was recently, I volunteered for the Community Enhancement Committee, and I was elected and currently serve as their secretary. I've made many enhancement suggestions while on that committee. I'm always thinking of ways to improve our community. I want to tell you about 2 suggestions I recently made to the masters and retreat boards to help all of us with the traffic issues around our community. I proposed K-Track Fazio Way exit gate that allows us to use that as an entrance gate, and I also did the think about a time suggestion to get rid of the man gates on the masters and replace them with other gates and use the office down on Whistling Straits as their check-in facility. So I think I'll have to quit it. Is that it, Stephanie?
Yep.
Thank you for your opportunity to let me tell you how I can help the community.
Yep, that's 8 minutes. Thank you, Gene.
Mhm.
All right, and we have Marilyn McNevitz. Marilyn, you have 8 minutes.
Thanks, Stephanie. So what I wanted to share with you are some of the key points that I think are important for the board to focus on or continue to focus on. I am an advocate for no increase in the HOAs to the extent that's reasonably possible. And in that regard, I support the budget that the board approved 4-1 the other day. I think it's the right thing for the community at this time, and we'll need to work closely with the board and FSR to achieve that goal. I think it's critical in this economic environment and the early stage of our community. We forget that we're only 4 years old, that we keep the HOA fees down and keep the operations steady and stable. If there's large swings in the HOA fees or major changes in the status of the golf course, being wholly private or wholly public, there could be a significant unintended consequences for our community and our housing prices. From a financial perspective, our financial statements in our community are complicated. It's not as easy as people might think. We have the HOA administration, we have 2 restaurants, we have 2 pools, a golf course, pickleball courts, and various other amenities, as well as dealing with the operations of the Oasis and Master Association. We need to manage our operations effectively and collaboratively by finding a balance for residents. And as a CPA, and with Alan moving off his term on the board, financial experience, I think, is going to be critical for the board. There are a ton of things that Alan does in the background, and very, very few people will appreciate the data mining and analytics he does to provide the community with information. While we've heard concerns about a lack of information, at the end of the day, since we've got the new POS system, it is now what we have available after 2 years in terms of detailed data that we can analyze and make appropriate and informed decisions. In that note, Alan, I hope you're here listening. I want to thank you so much for all you've done for the community, going all the way back to turnover, and I hope that you will help the board going forward in whatever capacity and time you have available. As a professional accountant, I believe we need to, and many of us have talked about it tonight, we need a careful review of all the expenses, looking for opportunities to reduce them, but being mindful that we need to ensure that the golf course, our most important asset, and other amenities stay in great shape, and we don't unnecessarily reduce any service levels to residents. As a professional accountant, I believe we need to complete a deep dive on the plaza and the golf grill. And again, with the POS system, I think we have data that will be helpful in looking at those options and opportunities. Many people have ideas what they would like in terms of service, and we need to take those informed decisions with data and facts. And we've also others have talked about performing reviews of contracts. I think the SWS in particular is one we need to look at, because nobody appears to like the value in that one. My second point I want to speak to is on the plaza. And I don't support an increase in the monthly or the annual food credit. I think any increase in this that's added becomes a financial burden to residents, and it does not go straight to our bottom line. I think before we increase the monthly and the food credits, there's a lot of other things we could do, including, again, looking at expenses. If there's too much expanded space, we're limited in the plaza and the golf grill with a small kitchen and a small clubhouse. And I think if we were going to do it again, we certainly wouldn't do it the way Lennar had provided it to us or left us with it. Anyways, whatever way we go, we need a business case that would need to be assessed in terms of the impact of any changes, and certainly a payback period. And I think it's important to get back to those fundamentals of transparency around business cases, payback, and what the financial implications are. I'm also not a supporter of opening up the membership or expanding the plaza access. As we've heard many times and discussed, there's huge compliance, liquor, legal, and ADA requirements that would have to be met. And I think we've got something special there, and keeping it private, I believe, is the way to go. Having said that, I said there's opportunities to improve the operations through a review of expenses. We can look at operating hours, right-sizing the staff, food cost management, and more fully integrating the operations of the golf grill. In terms of golf, I support the direction of the board in optimizing the revenue opportunities of the golf course with public play days and selling unused member tee times. We have 937 homes, and only 17% or 150 of those play golf 1 or more times a week. Over half the homes in the community do not golf at all. Our demographics would indicate we're a lifestyle community with a golf course amenity rather than a golfing community. And I think it's true that we are a hybrid of the two, and it is my belief that our strategy and management of the golf course must recognize this. So there's a delicate balance between public and private play. In addition to expense management, we should be optimizing the public play revenue. And again, as a CPA, I feel I'm well qualified to assist with those analysis and looking at those options. In the other point, the lawsuit with Lennar, that's I don't know when that will be settled, but the amounts will be significant. And as a sitting board member, if I was to be elected, it's critical that the funds are handled in a fiduciarily responsible manner. And I think when settled, and I understand the sitting board would have the discretion to allocate or use those funds as they see fit to the extent permitted by laws and statutes, I believe it is important that final funds are allocated and used for the intended purpose as outlined in the settlement, be that fixing the sidewalks or designating funds to the villa for future roof repairs. Others and I talked about the Oasis. I think the purchase of the Oasis is a huge transaction. I've heard the prescribed amount is in the neighborhood of $38 million. What would that mean to everyone in the community? That's possibly a $10,000 special assessment. So I think it's very, very important that the country club has the right representation at the table and when they're negotiating those transactions. My final comment is that we need a long-term strategic plan, and I think we need to be able to map that out so the community understands where we're going and provides the board with direction on where the community wants to go. Being a director, contributing to countless hours as a volunteer is a thankless job, but it is an important one. The community deserves to have elected volunteers who will put in the effort and work to move our community forward. I've demonstrated this to the community in the past and will continue to be engaged, have healthy discussions, actively participate and work through issues, being mindful and challenging the status quo.
Marilyn, that's 8 minutes.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Okay, so we have heard from all of the candidates with this next section. So we are going to move to our final section now, where each candidate will again be chosen at random, and they will have 3 minutes for their final statement, a closing statement, where they can summarize their message and leave any final thoughts with the community. So we are again going to pick randomly. Thank you, Benny. Okay. Okay, Jean, you are up first, Jean. So you have 3 minutes.
All right, thanks, Stephanie. I'd like to thank everyone for this opportunity to speak to you tonight. I want our community to be a joyful place for everyone. We have great facilities and great people here. We need to nurture them both. I hope you agree with me that a good board candidate needs to have time, skills, temperament, commitment to our community, and a history of helping you and others to assure you that they can be successful for you in our community. Let me summarize how I meet those requirements. I'm retired, so I do have the time needed to devote to a demanding board role. I've given examples of my skills in analyzing situations, studying the data, developing and proposing solutions, and getting them implemented. People who know me can assure you that I'm very even-tempered and easy to work with. I know how to deal with unhappy customers from my years of software development. People don't like change, and you just have to know how to deal with them, how to stick to the facts and give them the actions that will get things resolved. I have a long list of volunteering that should show you that I'm a driven person who it's part of who I am to be a volunteer and help with things that are needed. I hope that I've earned your vote and will be allowed to represent yours and this community's needs on your board. Thank you all for taking your time to listen tonight and getting to know all of the candidates better. Please vote and encourage all of your friends to get to know us and vote too. Thank you all.
Thank you, Jean. Okay, next up, thank you, Benny. We have Liesl. In 3 minutes.
Oh, I'm still muted. No,
No, you're not.
Sorry. Anyway, thank you. I just want to reiterate a couple of things that were said tonight. In my mind, communication and transparency is the key. It has to improve. It is sorely lacking at the moment, and it's the only way we're going to do it is by ripping the Band-Aid off and realizing that our homeowners deserve the respect of a board being transparent and honest with them. We need to listen to our homeowners more, and we need to take on board what they're telling us, because it's our community, and community is the key word here. It is a community. We need to get rid of this division, and that's something that I would make it as a priority. There's no need for it. It's sprung up, but luckily it's still in its infancy, so we can nip it in the bud, hopefully, and get back to being the happy place that we have been. I think it's important that we keep the board honest, ask the questions. Don't be afraid to ask the questions. I'll always be there to answer a question if anybody's there. You need to let people know that the people who are us 7 that are here tonight trying to get us 7, no, sorry, that are trying to get on the board. I can't count, never mind work the computer. That are trying to get on the board. We're here for a reason, and we're here to be your representatives. So you need to talk to us, and if you have any issues around, let us know. Talk to us. I'm very approachable. Anybody that knows that knows I'm very approachable, and I will do my absolute best to do my best for the community, and that's always the way. I want to thank my fellow candidates. It's been a very nice evening. I wish I was sitting in the plaza with a glass of wine with you rather than sitting here. But anyway, that's hey-ho. If any of the homeowners want to see me, I'm going to be down at Member this weekend. Pop down and see the Calcutta on Friday if you want to see some crazy bits. And next week I'll be in the plaza in the evening. So if you want to come and have a chat with me one-to-one, I've no problem with that too. We're neighbours. Shouldn't be afraid of our neighbours, and whatever you want to ask me, you ask me, and if I can't answer, I'll tell you, and if I can, I will. So have a great evening, everybody. Best of luck to my fellow candidates. May the best, as in spirit of the Hunger Games, may the odds always be in your favour. And to all my neighbours who have sat here for the last an hour and a half, thank you very, very much, and we do appreciate you making the time to do it. Okay, thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you, Liesl. Okay. We have John.
I knew
3
it was
minutes,
going to be me. Thank you. In conclusion, the action of an HOA board member has a significant impact on the community's well-being. As a volunteer board member, it comes with the responsibility of serving our community for the betterment of all 937 homes. Our members take this into consideration when evaluating the candidates, and in the end, elect those that they feel will best serve the community's needs. Therefore, as there are 5 board members, all 5 have a fiduciary responsibility to the community and should have equal input and say, and must work together. Sure, there may be disagreements at times, but that is healthy as long as in the end, the board is in alignment and that the decision made was with the entire community in mind. If I am elected to continue to serve, it will be my continued goal to bring down the divisiveness, encourage input, address questions, and openly meet and communicate with our community. I will also push to reestablish committees to address specific needs and desires, which in turn, the feedback from the community members can be provided so that the board can make well-informed decisions. I also plan on being at the plaza next week, Monday and Tuesday, in the evenings, and if you would like to stop by and meet with me and ask questions, I surely would welcome it. Thank you all for your time tonight. It's been a pleasure. I wish everyone the best of luck, and may we have a cohesive and work together forward once this whole voting process is completed. Thank you.
All right, thank you, John. Thank you, Benny. Marilyn. 3 minutes, Marilyn.
Thanks, Stephanie. I just want to summarize that, again, with Alan leaving the board, his financial skills will create a gap. And I believe that with my CPA and strong financial and audit background, I can attempt to close that gap, albeit Alan's talents are far exceeding mine when it comes to spreadsheets and PowerPoints. I have experience on the board and I know how the HOA operations work, and I have a track record of representing the whole community with no predetermined agenda. I've told you what my priorities are with regard to financial operations, the Oasis, the Plaza, golf, the 558 lawsuit with Lennar, and the need for a long-term strategic plan. I have an open management style. I'm a consensus builder by nature, and I approach things with an analytical mindset. We have a great data and analytics available now with our new system, and so I think we need to leverage that. What I'd like to bring the community back to is something that the board did back in November of 2021. The board approved the community's vision, mission, and value statements, which we seem to have forgotten over time. And what I'd like to do is read you the mission statement, which I think applies equally today as it did when we first turned over. And the community's mission was, our mission is to enhance the quality of life in our neighborhood through the management of common areas, the enforcement of rules and covenants, support of initiatives that strengthen the bonds among residents, and invest in capital improvements that benefit the greater good. So with all the things that have been going on, I think we need to come back to some of the foundational fundamentals. As others have said, get back to where we used to be. But overall, I wish all the candidates luck. I appreciate your time, and I appreciate the time of all the residents listening to what we had to have to say tonight. And I hope I have the opportunity to represent you. Thanks.
Thank you, Marilyn. Up we have Tom.
Thank you, Stephanie.
3 minutes.
Thank you. Throughout my career, I focused on efficiency, accountability, and strategic planning, skill sets that are essential for an effective HOA governance and long-term community planning. As you can see from my earlier statements, I have the direction that I'd like to focus on and move forward with the community. If elected, my key priorities will be to strengthen communications between the board and homeowners, foster a positive, inclusive, and engaged community via advisory committees, enforce vendor management process to ensure quality and value, budget and cost control, approachability, always having an ear to listen and be around the community, and foster a good work environment for FirstService residential employees. I believe in a collaborative process, fiscal responsibility, and ensure that the residents have a voice in shaping our community. You may want to ask yourself, does your candidate have a strong skill set to be able to deliver the results that you're looking for from a board member? I feel strongly that I have skill sets to be a strong board member. I would like to thank all my fellow candidates. I wish everyone the best of luck, and it was very good hearing your insight of how the community and where you want to take the community, all which is very good and positive feedback that we have all said. Thank you for your time and consideration, and I would be honored to serve and represent you on the HO board if elected. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Next we have Matt. You have 3 minutes, Matt.
Thank you, Stephanie. Well, first and foremost, Marilyn, mission statement. I love it. I love the idea of bringing that back, maybe refreshing it a little bit, getting some community input on it. I think that's great. You know, something that we can look at as a community on a regular basis. So great idea there. Candidates, I think we've got a great group of candidates that are certainly qualified, and I am truly honored to be with each and every one of you tonight. Homeowners, thank you so much for still being on and listening to us tonight. Look, guys, at the end of the day, this community is more than just where I live. It's where I've chosen to plant roots, raise my family, and invest in my future. I'm running for the board because I care deeply about the direction of Champions Gate. I believe we can continue to build on what's great here, a thriving golf community, an active social hub, and a neighborhood we're all proud to call home. If elected, I'll bring the same dedication and teamwork that guided me throughout my Navy career and now drives my work in real estate, always striving to listen, communicate, and make decisions that benefit the greater good. Champions Gate is already one of the most desirable communities in Florida, and together, I believe we can make it even better. So thank you again for your time, your trust, and the opportunity to continue serving this incredible community that we all love. I'll be, side note, I will be at the member this weekend. Looking forward to it. So Lisa, we'll see you out there. Tom, I'm sure you're going to be out there too. And yeah, thank you very much. Have a great night, everyone.
Thank you, Matt. All right. Last but not least, Mark. Mark, you have 3 minutes for your closing statement.
Thank you, Stephanie. In closing, serving on the board of directors for the Champions Gate Country Club requires a specific blend of business experience and dedicated community service. And this roster of candidates demonstrates that you have that opportunity. I congratulate each one. My career as a developer has given me the financial literacy and project management expertise to oversee this world-class operation. My current service as Secretary of the Master Association means I'm already familiar with the governance and unique challenges of our community. And I happen to sit on the committee that is involved with the acquisition of the Oasis, by the way. My focus will be on delivering results, protecting our financial reserves, maximizing the value of our amenities, and ensuring open and accountable board process. I've always insisted on open books and resident input. Serving on the board of directors for the country club, I'll support town halls and transparency, ensuring every decision reflects your voice and protects our shared investment. I'm not learning on the job. I'm ready to lead day one. Tonight, I ask for your vote so I can put my asset management experience to work for you. Thank you, and thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you, Mark. All right, folks, well, we have heard from all of our candidates this evening. So I do want to thank, first off, all of our candidates tonight for your time and willingness to serve on the board of directors. So thank you very much. And thank you to all of our residents who participated tonight in watching the Meet the Candidates event. Just a few friendly reminders. This meeting was recorded, so it will be posted on the community YouTube channel tomorrow. So as soon as it is available, I will send an e-blast out to the community, letting you know that you can log into the YouTube channel and watch it at your leisure. And then just a few reminders about voting. For those of you who signed up for electronic voting, that is going to start tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. So for those of you who are signed up, you will receive an email directly from Simply Voting, letting you know that voting is open and you can log in to their website and cast your vote. You'll be able to do that up until November 12th at 4 p.m. And for those of you who are voting by paper ballot, we do need your ballots also turned in to the HOA office by November 12th at 4 p.m. If you fail to vote by November 12th at 4 p.m., either by paper ballot or electronically, the only way to cast your vote will be if you show up to the annual meeting and cast your vote in person. And again, a quick reminder, the annual meeting is next Thursday, November 13th at 6 p.m. at the Plaza. Okay, so thank you very much once again for everybody attending tonight. We had great attendance, and we will see you guys around the community. Thank you. Have a great night.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thanks. Good night.
Thanks, Steph.